Alright guys, welcome back to another video. This is the ONYX build part number 3, and real quick before we get into it, I watched and edited some of this video already and I noticed that the audio isn't really up to par in some spots. I don't know what happened to my wireless Go microphone. I've been having a little bit of issues with it, but I just wanted to come in here real quick when we did the intro and let you guys know before you watch it. It's a good video nonetheless, and we'll see you at the end of it. So let's get into it right now. Alright, so what's up guys? Welcome back to build number 3, and I've been working on this ONYX for the last 2 days, kind of here and there for a couple hours when I had some free time, and I want to show you some stuff that I did. Let me roll this bike out here so you guys can get a better look. So as you guys can see, the bike looks totally different, or to me it does since the last video, and I've cleaned the bike up a lot. And the biggest thing you're gonna notice is that the wheels are black now. I put some caps over all of these. I had to measure and cut every single one of them, and they basically just like slip-on little covers. But when you stand back, it looks so badass. And these tires look brand new too, even though they're not brand new. I mean, they don't have many miles on them. But I'll show you exactly how I got these tires to look this way. So I'm using this stuff called Ultimum, and it's a tire protection and coating. Basically, it's like a silicone coating, and it lasts for months. And I know what you guys are probably gonna say, don't put tire shine and stuff like that on your motorcycle tires or e-bike tires, but let's just be real, I didn't get it on the actual tread. I just went from here to here. You're not gonna be riding on this part of the wheel, but I know a lot of people say not to do it. When I used to detail cars and stuff like that and I did motorcycles, we never ever put tire shine on a motorcycle. That's really dangerous, but I feel like for this application it's totally fine. I also used a spray to clean this bike pretty good, and let me show you what I use for this. It's the stuff that we used to use for our RC cars back in the day, and it's called Mo 94, and it's a multi-use spray with PT.3, I believe in it. Yeah, PT.3. This stuff works great. It makes black look black, and I literally sprayed it on this whole entire bike. That's how the hub motor looks so brand new compared to how it was in the beginning. So if you guys want to buy that, it's on Amazon. I'll put links in the description. The other thing I added was some tire LEDs. I'm not a huge fan of these. I'll put the link in the description if you guys want them, but yeah, not a big fan because they don't work very well, and sometimes they come out in the garage late at night and they're still blinking. So it has some issues with them, but I love having LEDs on my tires because it kind of gives a presence of someone in the area. You know, it's kind of cool looking, but also I want to be seen at night. We took this plug that the guy added a magnetic little piece to it and made it look a lot cleaner. I super glued the bottom of this and I super glued the piece together, and then I used basically electric tape to hold that together. Looks really clean. It's really out of the way. You don't even notice it. And coming to the back over here, you're going to notice that I started getting into the wiring on the rear of this bike. I really want to get this brake light working. I'm not very good at wiring stuff up, so I'm kind of trying to test some wires out and see what works and what doesn't. The good thing is, since this guy put his own little lights on the bike right here, I noticed that he had to drill the holes bigger, and that worked perfect for my turn signals that I have up front. They're the size of the hole is big enough to put my turn signals. But the main goal of me taking this apart was to get this working, so that's still a work in progress. I also ordered some of these little rubber caps that go on here for the ONYX, and I haven't got them in yet, but I also ordered black brake handles. I got a brand new one for this one, the whole entire thing with the plug for the regen. And then for this side, it's just going to be the handle itself. I also started working on this wood cover right here. I put a bunch of fabric tape. It's vinyl or fabric tape. I think it's fabric tape. That's what it's called, because I said it different a couple times in my last video. We also did this handle right here, and I bent the handle as much as I could to get it really, really close to the wood cover, because basically what would happen is this little bracket right here, this is where it needs to sit under. And if it wasn't close enough to this, basically what it would do is it would start popping up. You can feel there's a little bit of a gap. So closing that up really fixed that issue. And we also put the tape on the front end too. And I got rid of the extra bolt. There was an extra bolt here. There was 3 of them. And that kept the wood cover from coming all the way up to the front of the bike. So now it actually comes up all the way to the front. And the only thing now we have to worry about is the front hitting the wood cover. But I also put something on there that I'll show you that we might fix that problem with. I put little rubber stoppers right here, and John Angel told me, I think it's on his blog post, I'll put in the link in the description too. It comes on like a big old sheet, and basically this is just a little rubber piece. It's supposed to come in contact with this thing, so this is like an oversight on the ONYX that they never fixed. So you'll see if that brake cable gets out of the way, that rubber piece now hits the inside of that piece, which hopefully will not cause this whole setup to hit the wood cover, because the wood cover comes right on this little corner right here. So hopefully we don't bust our wood cover like I did my last one. This is what happened to my last one. And now the biggest issue on this bike right now on why I can't even move it at all, and not including the seat not being there, is the fact that all the brakes are disconnected. And in the back here, we got the X-Tech brake system. I ordered it in red because I thought the red would look pretty sick, and then I thought about painting the front caliper red if I took it completely off, so the bike would be completely black, wood cover with little red accents. I thought that'd be pretty sick. They seem like they match up pretty well. I haven't got them done yet. Obviously you can tell that this cable is coming out the back. I've never done brakes before. I cut it extra short or extra long for now because I was just trying to get an idea of how to run it. But I watched some videos on YouTube, just like you guys are probably watching my videos right now, and I realized how to do it. So I'm hoping I get that done and I have no issues with it. And if you come up to the front, you're gonna see where we're at. I'm still gonna have to take this line off. And this is actually where the Mo 94 is gonna come into play, because once I take this line back out before I put it back in, I'm gonna spray some Mo 94 in here. It's kind of like an oil, and that's going to help the lubricant of actually pulling the brakes back and forth so they don't bind up. And then you come down here. This is a bad problem that I did, and it was my fault. I wanted to take this whole thing off, and then I decided, no, I'm not going to paint it yet. Well, my idiot self decided to push the brake when it was off, and now these pads are completely pushed together. Now, the problem with that is I don't have a vacuum puller or anything like that, or a pressure thing to basically put pressure into the system so these brakes won't feel all mushy. So I'm kind of at a standstill with that. And these are the brake pads that I bought, and I'll be honest, I'm not even sure if these are the right brakes. It did say it was for a bike that John Angel said it works for, but they look different than the other brake pads. The other ones had a little groove like right in the middle. But I haven't even taken the other ones off of the bike yet to see if they were going to match. So if they don't, we're going to have to send these back to Amazon and get some new ones. Also, another thing that we got is in this bag are some pegs. You can't see them, but they're just straight black pegs. They fold just like the ones in the back do. And this guy put these pegs onto the suspension shock, and I don't think you're supposed to use that bolt. I think you're supposed to use this rear one in the back, or that's the one I'm probably going to use. I think there's one more right under it that I could probably use, but I think I'll probably use the rear one for the pegs. I'm not honestly ever going to have anyone on it. I just thought it'd be cool just to have some since it already came with them. But definitely these are also coming off, and we're going to put the new pegs on. My biggest goal right now is getting the rear brakes hooked up and then working on the front brakes. So I'm going to put some music on. I'm going to get working on that, and I'm going to see where I get to. And if I don't get to any of that stuff, I don't. But that's where I'm at right now. We'll push it to another day if I need to.
A few moments later.
All right, so that was actually easier than I thought, and our brakes in the back are completely working again. Thank you for the previous owner that did give me the brake line and everything like that, but I did buy the rear brake caliper because I didn't use the original one he gave me. Like I said, I wanted a red one. But I left a little bit of extra slack on here. I know the least cable that you have, the better it is for it working, but I did want to have some extra room if I needed to move this cable down the road instead of buying a whole new kit again. But once we start zip tying this underneath the bike, I think it's going to look completely fine. I was going to run this cable on the other side, but it's going to have too much of a bend and be way too close to this. But everything looks like it works pretty good when I hit the brakes. Everything is looking good. Clamp this little end on here, but I won't know how well it works until I actually get the front brakes working with the new pads and see if they fit. So let's get on to that and I'll update you. All right, well, that wasn't fun. We went from having front brakes only on this bike to now we only have rear brakes, because when I got into working on this bike, I noticed that this little screw right here that holds the brake calipers in was slightly almost stripped. And I tried to save it, I tried to get it off, it started going even more. So then what I did is I brought out the PB blaster, waited about 30 minutes, and I also used my torch to kind of heat up the metal also so it can kind of expand it, and it's still stripped. So now it's completely done. Not getting this bolt out whatsoever. So we're just gonna probably order a whole brand new one of this and call it a day, because I don't know, it's frustrating. But so now we're gonna have to order another one of those. I'm not exactly sure how much they are from ONYX, but we're gonna have to get one of those sent to us So this is gonna be delayed a little bit, but we still have other stuff to do on the bike that I'm gonna get to, so let's get going on that. So I took these original pegs off, did not like them whatsoever. You guys already knew that. And they're not even supposed to be on here like we said, so we're probably gonna drop them down to here, or I might just put them back here. This is the first time that I'm gonna see how these look also. I'm hoping they look pretty clean. They were cheap, I think on Amazon, maybe under 30 bucks, 25, 30 bucks. They feel pretty heavy. Okay, yeah, no, they're nice and clean looking. About the same length as these. Yeah, probably actually a little bit longer. I like them. They look pretty good. All right, so I realized that these only come with this. There's no washer. I feel like these should have came with a washer like on this backside right here. So this hole is smaller than this one. This one's a lot larger. So we're gonna use this one, and I'm gonna see if I can find a washer, and if not, we should be okay. No one's really gonna be using them anyway. It's just more for looks. But let me go see if I can get that washer found, and then we're gonna mock these up. All right, cool. I found some locking washers, so we're gonna use these. Okay, I just thought about it. You guys probably already were gonna tell me the same thing, but these won't be able to be bolted to the bike because they got to come from the back. So they got to come like this and come out this hole. How am I gonna get an Allen key on this side? So we need a different type of bolt that we can actually get a wrench on the back of it and go from there. So I'm gonna see if I have some bolts. Yes, so 20 minutes later, I found 2 identical bolts that screw into these, and this is gonna work perfectly. All right, and they are on, and I have them folding to the back. And I'll tell you right now, if you're gonna do the same thing that I'm doing, when you gotta get in here and you gotta get to those bolts back in here, if you guys can see that, you're gonna need some tiny, tiny hands. I'll tell you that. So if you got some big old fat hands, you're not gonna be able to reach back there and get that bolt threaded on by hand until you can get a wrench on there. Overall, I won't say these are the best because you can see that they have like a shake to them. I feel like they should have had like a rubber little piece on the inside to kind of keep that from rattling, but like I said, they were cheap on Amazon. We'll put a link in the description, but they look so much better than the stock ones, and now they're not compromising our suspension bolt and our threads coming to the back, so I think that's a lot cleaner too and safer. All right, there we go. We got both pegs on, super nice and clean. Like I said, I don't know how strong they are. I don't think they're gonna really be used, but honestly, as long as someone's sitting on the seat and I'm hiking them, they're not actually putting all their weight on the pegs, I think they should be perfectly fine. But if someone was standing on them, I do not recommend these pegs whatsoever. But definitely gives the bike a cleaner look. And now you see the rat's nest of wires that I gotta go through. I already kind of started it. I'm literally trying to get down to all the base wires coming out of the bike so then we can start running all our stuff again, because I have no idea how this is all set up. This is just a mess. All right, this is taking a lot longer than I thought, but at least I got down to these 3 wires that work for the brake light. I'm hoping this works, and if it doesn't, I already have one coming from ONYX that I'm going to switch out anyway. That should have the right connectors on here instead of just the wires being like this. I think anyway, not 100% positive, but just messing around because I saw red and red, but I think this red is the one that goes to this one, so I gotta change that. But it was funny because I decided to turn the bike on and then push this brake, right? So when I push the brake, that lights up, which is hella funny when you hit this brake. That's great. None of the turn signals work. This is left and this is right. None of them work because they are not hooked up correctly. And I don't even have most of them hooked up. Only one ground wire on each one is hooked up. So I'm just gonna continue working on this, but thought I'd show you that. I thought it was pretty funny. And that's most of the stuff that I got rid of. It's crazy, all the little stupid tape that this guy put on little by little. It's like 1 inch at a time. It's like, why don't you just wrap the whole thing once and be done with it? But I had to take it off 1 piece at a time. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Now when I hit the brakes, you can see when the brakes move, the light comes on. Yes, this is what I've been waiting for. And now I just have to get my turn signals working because I do not know which wires go to what yet. But now that I know which ones go, I need to start getting these either taped up, soldered, whatever I'm gonna do. See if I have some connections. I might solder them if I have the time, but at least I want to keep the brake lights together so I know those are what go to what wires, and then I can mess around with the other ones for the turn signals. But we also want to put our other turn signals on here too, but I need to figure out what's what. All right, check this out. I got rid of one of these turn signals. Like I said, I was gonna keep them, but then I started sitting here looking at all the wiring, and I was like, okay, If I was to use both of these at the same time, I would have to branch off of this wire, and then the other red wire that's down here that's not going anything yet, I'd have to branch that off to the other one too. And I just decided, you know what, let's just have less wires. Those turn signals that are in the front are very good already. So as you can tell, look how clean this is. All this goes to the rear light. So I could tape it a little bit more. I was going to tape it in a few different spots and get that all going, but right now I'm just taking these off, and we're gonna hook up our other turn signals to these holes right here, and then we're gonna get this bolted back up here. Look at how beautiful that looks. This wiring is coming out awesome. I'm so happy with it. I was really nervous when I got into it, but this side is working perfectly good, and I think that's gonna be so clean once this is kind of mocked up and sitting right there. Those look so much better than the stock ones. I love it. So I'm gonna get started on this next side. All right, and here it is. It's not really bolted up yet, but you'll see that we now have the left side working, and then we hit that, we got the right side working. And I want to get you in here and I want to show you how clean it's looking, even though I haven't done the actual taping of anything yet. Like, this is how it should have been from the beginning. I understand he added extra stuff on there, but look how clean that looks now. That's like gorgeous. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape this whole thing all together right here. Then I'm gonna probably tape it like right here, and then we're gonna push some of these wires in here, so some of these are kind of out. We might tape it a little bit right here too, and then we're gonna get it bolted back up here, and then we're gonna get the seat on. All right, before I put the seat on, I wanna kind of show you how I did my wires super quick. So now we have a lot of extra room. I pushed all this back. I pushed a bunch of wires through, and then I had some extra wire because I didn't want to push it all the way through. So basically what I did is, if you can see that, it's kind of dark over here, but I basically wrapped these wires around this little stem right here, and then we put this on. So these wires aren't going to go anywhere, but that also gives me extra slack down the road if I have to remove this at all. And when the seat goes on, it's going to cover that anyway. So let's get the seat on and see how it looks. Oh man, the ice cream man's coming. Okay, so you guys can get an idea of how this looks now. I think that looks pretty clean, if I must say so myself. Well, before we get too far, let's double check, make sure everything works again. So, the brake light is working with the brake. And then let's do the turn signals. So we got the right side, and then bam, we got the left side. So everything is working as it should, like factory. All we did is get rid of these little tiny ones. These are bright, don't get me wrong, the stock ONYX turn signals are bright, but look how tiny they are compared to this. And like I said, I wish I could have kept the other ones because they would have set right here, and I would have had two, so you would have had one blinking like right here in the corner, and it would have looked extra clean, but it would have caused a lot more wiring, and it was easy enough to just plug these into the stock connectors that are already on there. It was just literally like plug and play. So I did that instead. It was a lot easier. And right now I'm just gonna get the wood cover mounted on real quick, and I wanna try to take it down the street to see if these brakes are working at all. We just can't go too crazy because we have no front brake. All right, BRB. All right, for now the bike is done on build day number 3, and it's looking clean. I'm so glad we got the back working. I'm so glad we got the back brakes working. We did have that setback though from the front brakes, so that really does suck, but for the most part, I already ordered it. You can get it on Treadland, and it should hopefully come in a week, and then we'll get that mounted up. And honestly, I'm thinking about painting it the same color as this red one back here, so we could have 2 red calibers front and back. The brake line seemed like it was not an issue for now. On the front brake line, I just zip tied it like this. We lost all our fluid, so I got to go on Amazon and also buy a vacuum kit so we can get all the good pressure in the front so the front works, because the front brake is the main brake we need for this bike. Also, I think I told you, see how there's a bunch of play right here? I guess it's not that big a deal, but it looks like it's missing a few of these washers, and it could be the same washers that I use for my pressure washers, for like the hoses and stuff like that, for your garden hoses. But anyway, and then we got to check these, make sure these are tight. We don't want to have any issues, but looks really clean. The brake line is all zip tied up and super clean. So you know what that means. It's the end of the video, so I'll see you guys in the next one. We get the front brake done, and then we'll go actually ride it and go test out both the front and back brakes and make sure everything is good on them, because that's the main thing we're gonna have an issue with. And we'll get the side panels back on the bike because we don't have the side panels on. And then I do have some stuff coming from ONYX. We got some black brake levers that we need to put on, and we also got the little rubber stoppers that go on the wood cover. So look forward to that. And then, yeah, so we'll see you guys in the next one. That should be it. Later.